I am so moved to see all of you here today. I brought like 15 masks because I was like, oh, I'll give it out to all the canvassers, and then like 50 of you showed up. Because you're like, no, for reals, when we say we're going to knock on every single Latinx door and family in this entire state, we mean it. You're going to be getting to every single county. You're going to be meeting your neighbors. You're going to be breaking through the noise that exists online that tells people that you don't care, that you're not American, that you don't have rights, that you don't have needs that need to be prioritized. You are putting a face to your community. You are putting humanity behind your words, behind your hope, and you are taking this personally. There's a lot of people who will share stuff online, who will bitch and moan across the kitchen table, but they aren't going to put action behind their heart. And you are doing it. And you're doing it for all of us. Because as much as we just won Georgia again, because we did, and that feels real good, so we should enjoy that because it's great to win twice, the work isn't done. And we actually understand how this whole process works. That you don't get to just vote once and then everything magically just turns perfect. That you have to do the groundwork. And that's the reason why Georgia flipped blue. Because you've been here doing that work for years. It didn't just come out of a dream. It came out of dedication and commitment and tenacity. It came out of ganas. This is beautiful. That looks delicious. Because y'all is delicious. Because you're putting beauty and magic and love behind all of this. Again, you're not just out there screaming and crying and wailing and cursing. You see right here, you're nodding your head. You got a bounce in your step because you know what you are fighting for. And that even if you lose sometimes, that the battle is not over. That you are going to get up, get your rest, take care of yourselves, and show up again. Because that's what's necessary. The work, even if we get and keep the House and the Senate, we still got a lot of work to do. Because as much as there was huge voter turnout that flipped this election blue, 70 plus million people voted differently and did not want this progress to happen. And if we don't win, if we don't war knock our Ossoffs off, I just made that up over there. I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm going to say we got to war knock our Ossoffs off. Thanks. Let's make that a hashtag. If we don't do that, we know it's going to happen. Mitch McConnell calls himself the Grim Reaper. He prides himself on having obstructed Obama, on making sure that he had as few wins as possible so that it could be dismissed as an ineffective presidency. That's what he's hoping to do right now. We showed up in record numbers in 2018, and what happened? We saw women and women of color, we saw bipartisan legislation in the hundreds get passed, and they are sitting and rotting and collecting dust on his desk because that's what he wants to do. He's not convening the Senate right now for COVID relief, for health care, for climate change, for anything. He's doing it to stack the courts. The thing that he keeps, and all the Republican Party keeps saying, is what the Democrats want to do. That's actually what he's been doing for years. They've been playing a long game. And too many of us who have been in amazing organizations have been playing a long game, but they've been doing it separately. And what I am so moved by in this particular, the past couple of elections, is I'm starting to see community getting really built. And that's how you win. When the young people show up, and Latinx community shows up, when the natives in Arizona roll up on their horses to go 20 miles to vote because voter suppression was going to try to keep their voices from being heard, and they go, no, I'm good, we're showing up. My voice matters. When we start seeing that community come together, we're unstoppable. So we can't let the online division keep separating us. We got to keep doing that face-to-face time, and that is what you are all doing. And I cannot thank you enough, because as much as we can talk about it outside, this is what it actually takes to win. And you know that, and too many people don't. So thank you for reminding us that it's about community that makes the difference. It makes people decide, you know what, I'm sick, I'm tired, I didn't get enough rest last night, I'm worried about my job, I'm worried about my health care, but I gotta vote. I gotta make sure, because someone knocked on my door and told me I matter. and that my life experience deserves to be told. My story is important, and that I'm not alone in fighting for what is right. You put a face to our future, and I just want to say I cannot thank you enough. So we have to knock our ass off because we are in the 100-year anniversary of the suffrage movement, and we finally have a Madam-elect Vice President. It only took 100 years. It only took 98 years to have Native women represented in our Congress. Native people, the Haudenosaunee, who had been voting for generations before. Women of color who still didn't get to vote for decades afterwards, even though they were the ones who solidified our right to vote. So much about our history has embedded discrimination, sexism, bigotry. It is imperfect, the materials of this country, but it is still alive and breathing. And you keep showing that just because something was one way before, it doesn't mean that it has to continue to be. Now that's managing your expectations. This isn't just wild, fanciful thinking. That's actually seeing what is actually possible, because as much as you can look to history and be depressed and disenchanted, you can also look to history and be incredibly moved and inspired. And thank you for rising that tide up, for not letting the noise continue to break us down and depress us and make us feel like change isn't possible. You are making that the reality that our children will be able to grow up in, and no differently than so many of us were raised in. So I could go on forever, but we also have a lot of doors to knock on and a lot of people to talk to. And I just cannot tell you how much I thank you enough. I'm going to continue to spread the word outside of here because people are, what can I do? What can I do? And they're like trying to make it rain. They're trying to do all the things, make phone calls, do all this stuff. But I know the most important thing that they could be doing is supporting you, because your groundwork is what changes the tide. And you've been laying it for years. And that's the slow wins that make the tidal wave actually happen. So again, I'm so grateful I got to be here so I could look at all your faces, even though a lot of you are looking into your phones. And even though I can't see your noses or your mouths because we're being good and we're wearing masks, but your eyes are shining that much brighter because you know you already won. You all know what you already did, and you're going to do it again. So thank you for turning out that vote. I'm here with you. I hope to come back. But in the meanwhile, I will be your keyboard warrior and beyond. Te quiero, Georgia, con ganas.